Aaron Collins, Missouri Farm Bureau. Jim Rasick, Auto Group. Sugarfoot Barbecue. Remax, Truman Lake. Golden Valley Memorial Healthcare. Integrity Floors. The Landmark Restaurant. Clark Tire. C-Squared Embroidery and Screen Printing. Real-Time Photography. Primitive Old Crow and Winery. Bernard Tax and Bookkeeping. Laura Anstein, Anstein Realty and Auction. Creative Paint and Supply. Aaron Collins, Missouri Farm Bureau. Jim Rasick, Auto Group. Sugarfoot Barbecue. Remax, Truman Lake. Golden Valley Memorial Healthcare. Integrity Floors. The Landmark Restaurant. Clark Tire. C-Squared Embroidery and Screen Printing. Real-Time Photography. Primitive Old Crow and Winery. Bernard Tax and Bookkeeping. Laura Anstein, Anstein Realty and Auction. Creative Paint and Supply. Aaron Collins, Missouri Farm Bureau. Jim Rasick, Auto Group. Sugarfoot Barbecue. Remax, Truman Lake. Golden Valley Memorial Healthcare. Integrity Floors. The Landmark Restaurant. Clark Tire. C-Squared Embroidery and Screen Printing. Real-Time Photography. Primitive Old Crow and Winery. Bernard Tax and Bookkeeping. Laura Anstein, Anstein Realty and Auction. Creative Paint and Supply. Aaron Collins, Missouri Farm Bureau. Jim Rasick, Auto Group. Sugarfoot Barbecue. Remax, Truman Lake. Golden Valley Memorial Healthcare, Integrity Floors, The Landmark Restaurant, Clark Tire, C-Squared Embroidery and Screen Printing, Real-Time Photography, Primitive Old Crow and Winery, Bernard Tax and Bookkeeping, Laura Anstein, Anstein Realty and Auction, Creative Paint and Supply. Aaron Collins, Missouri Farm Bureau, Jim Rasick Auto Group, Sugarfoot Barbecue, Remax Truman Lake, Golden Valley Memorial Healthcare, Integrity Floors, The Landmark Restaurant, Clark Tire, C-Squared Embroidery and Screen Printing, Real-Time Photography, Primitive Old Crow and Winery, Bernard Tax and Bookkeeping, Laura Anstein, Anstein Realty and Auction, Creative Paint and Supply. Aaron Collins, Missouri Farm Bureau, Jim Rasick Auto Group, Sugarfoot Barbecue, Remax Truman Lake, Golden Valley Memorial Healthcare, Integrity Floors, The Landmark Restaurant, Clark Tire, C-Squared Embroidery and Screen Printing, Real-Time Photography, Primitive Old Crow and Winery, Bernard Tax and Bookkeeping.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Cardinal Volleyball. I'm here with my wife, Stacy Hinkle. That's your cue.
Sorry, I missed it. I was listening. We're announcing the starting lineup. And starting tonight for Clinton, number 3, Colby Jackson. Number 4, Paige Gillen. Number 6, Brian Smith. Number 10, Alana Alexander.
5'9" middle blocker, sophomore, number 11, Mercedes Brown.
Number 11, Mercedes Brown.
And senior outside hitter, 5'10", number 13, Maddie Allard.
And number 13, Maddie Allard.
Libero, a senior, 5'3", Katie Mitchell.
And Katie Mitchell,
Lady Cardinals are coached by Sarah
number 2.
Kerr, assisted by Tiffany Smith and Kevin Carr. Now let's meet the starters for the Nevada
The Lady Cardinals tonight facing off against the Nevada Lady Tigers.
All right, and here.
And starting for Nevada, number 1, Jade Feller.
Sophomore outside hitter number 6,
Abby Hethman, number 6.
5'7" senior right side number 16, Laney Coons.
Number 16, Laney Coons.
6-foot middle blocker, sophomore number 18, Trinity Gaiman.
Number 18, Trinity Gaiman.
5'7" senior outside hitter number 24, Hannah Godsey.
Number 24, Hannah Godsey.
And a 6-foot freshman middle blocker number 27, Delaney Hope.
Number 27, Delaney Hope.
5'6" senior number 10, Cadence Prosper.
And number 10, Cadence Trosper.
The Lady Tigers are coached by Corey Dodson, assisted by Morgan Sanderson and Ann Smoot. Our officials for tonight's contest are Roger Hensley and Kent Pratt.
Of course, some people that's been with the Clinton School District for a while may recognize the name Smoot. At one point in time, her husband was head coach at CHS, and then she was also at the Votech. I
She
believe.
was at technical school.
Yes.
She is the freshman coach here in Nevada now.
I got the opportunity and spoke with her a few minutes when we showed up. It was nice to see her once again. So here we go. And we're getting ready to start.
So it should be an interesting matchup tonight. Of course, the Clinton Lady Cardinals coming in with a 5-1 record.
Coming off their first loss of the season.
That's right, to Bolivar.
Bolivar, always a
last
tough
night.
team.
Yeah. Nevada, on the other hand, looking for their first win of the season, 0-5 right now. So they are hungry for it and anxious to try and put a win in the books for them. So we'll see how things go here tonight.
Yes, indeed. I would say since they're coming off of a loss, they're going to be a little hungry. So here we go.
Clinton opening the serve. Elena Alexander back to serve for Clinton. Good reaction there by Brown on the short dink. And point number 1 will go to Clinton as the Lady Tigers can't quite get that one over the net. One thing I am happy to see, a nice student section here tonight. You know, so many of our schools have kind of refrained from doing that. But the Nevada students are here in the stands.
And somebody is repositioning our camera. So I don't know what exactly happened. I need to go attend to that.
You do that, I'll take care of this.
All right, so the scores will not be accurate until I get back.
So Clinton still on the serve. A great attack by Maddie Allard there. And we won't tell him that I updated the score, too. I think he forgets I might be able to do a few of those things. Another nice serve by Alexander. And the attack from Nevada will go out of bounds far deep, so another point for Clinton. 4-0 now. Your Lady Cardinals leading here over the Lady Tigers. Just getting started here in varsity action tonight. This would be the first set of the match. And that serve will fall a little short. So that point will go to Nevada. And it looks like number 1, Jade Feller, back to serve for Nevada now. Mercedes Brown on the attack. And that will go off the fingertips of the Nevada defender. Block attempt was there, but not quite good enough to hold it back. And the score is 5-1. Clinton leading. Maddie Allard with the serve will go deep and out of bounds. And we will see Katie Mitchell into the game for Clinton. Looks like Delaney Hope in for Nevada. And the serve now from Trinity Yeaman. A nice serve, very low to the net, and had a lot of speed and power behind it. So that will put one on the board for Nevada as we mark the ace for her. That ball over the net. Now Clinton will set up Brown. Mitchell to Alexander, who sets up Colby Jackson, and her timing is just a little off as she misses that one. 4-5 now. Clinton still leading over the Nevada Lady Tigers here in the first set of the night for the varsity girls. And another crazy serve there. What an arm on Trinity Yeaman. All tied up, 5-5 now. Good up by Katie Mitchell. Set goes to Colby Jackson. Ball still in play. Good up by Brian Smith. Alexander sets up Mercedes Brown, who comes in for the kill, and will put that point on the board for Clinton. Mercedes Brown now serving for Clinton. A nice serve from her. Back row spike from Nevada, and Clinton will play that. Colby Jackson on the attack, and that will score the point for Clinton as the block can't quite hold it back. 7-5 now, Clinton leading over Nevada. And Mercedes Brown back to serve again. And that will go out of bounds. So that point will go to Nevada. 6-7 now your score. And Nevada will bring in Hallie Bond to serve.
All right, looks like we got things back up and running here. And a slight misstep there by Clinton gives
gives Nevada the
Nevada.
lead.
El Dorado's just down the street.
Been there a few times lately, huh?
Yes, we have. We're doing a little work for El Dorado Springs. We are covering their football this season.
And Paige Gillen on the serve for Clinton.
Good recovery by Nevada.
And that is Morgan Hendricks on the little dink over the net there. Well-placed ball will give the lead back to Clinton.
Page back to serve.
Nice dig by Katie Mitchell.
And
Followed with the back row spike by her. And Jackson chooses to go with a strong spike, and Nevada can't recover, and that will go out of bounds. Clinton Point, 11-8 now. The Lady Cardinals leading over the
A lot
Nevada
of
Lady
movement and a lot of
Tigers.
energy on Nevada's side.
Absolutely.
Oh. Came in from the back, and she just happened to put it in a place where Clinton was not.
A lot of
caught him off guard.
A lot of hustle by Katie Mitchell to try and get underneath that one. Just not quite there.
Here's a set. Morgan with the spike, and is successful. Looks like Mitchell will come out and was replaced with, who came in? Allard, I think.
Yes, looks like Maddie Allard came back in.
Maddie goes up for the big spike, but puts it in the net.
And now we will see number 23 serving for Nevada. And I apologize, I did not hear her name, and I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Good hustle there. Not quite able to dig that one up by Hallie Bond.
Morgan will go back for the serve. And it looks like we're going to have a substitution here.
That will be Delaney Hope in for Nevada. Morgan Hendricks, and her serve is a nice little slice out of bounds on the far sideline. I think she kind of caught that one on the edge of her hand as she came around. Looks like Hannah Godsey back to serve now for Nevada. And we will see Brian Smith back in the game for Clinton. No, that is, yeah, Brian Smith.
Bump it set. Paige just bumps it over. Oh, that
Deep
will be out of
set,
bounds.
It is out of bounds, yeah. So the Clinton Lady Cardinals leading 14-12 now here in the first set of the night as we bring you Clinton High School varsity volleyball action in Nevada. I want to say thanks to them for hosting Clinton tonight. Elena Alexander on the serve now for the Lady Cardinals.
Here's the set.
The block there by number 18 Trinity Gaiman for Nevada.
Mitchell
but Clinton
with the
will
bump.
leave it in play. Now Allard on the attack. And Elena Alexander takes it over in two, but goes just a little too long with that one. And we will see number 19, Abby Cornett, coming in the game for Nevada now. Jade Feller back to serve. Smith to Alexander, sets up Paige Gilland. A good block by Clinton. Brown and maybe Gillen on that. And that attack a little deep for Clinton, so that will tie the ball game now 14-14. And what an exciting game. These two teams really playing with each other right now. And again, the attack by Maddie Allard goes a little long.
Looks like Clinton's putting a lot of them into the backcourt here.
You know, I think that the girls, they're just not comfortable with their timing yet. Usually when you've got a spike going long like that, it's because you're not getting quite as much height and you're coming around a little late. So I think, give them a little time to warm up here. Once they've really got a good feel for it, maybe you'll see them, get that timing down, make some adjustments, and be able to put some points on the board with it. We will take a quick timeout. 16-14, your score currently. The Nevada Lady Tigers leading the Clinton Lady Cardinals right now. And as we do that, we want to say thank you very much to Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, Aaron Collins, agent. Aaron is the agent for the Clinton area, and we appreciate him very much. We're happy to have him in Clinton and glad that he is there. And if you're looking for insurance, stop by and see him at his office in the Clinton Corner Shopping Center, and I'm sure he'll be glad to help you out. It's definitely an exciting game here tonight, as I think the Lady Cardinals may have underestimated their opponents a little bit coming in early to this one. Of course, Clinton 5-1 facing off against the 0-5 Nevada team. But the score definitely reflecting a much closer range than the win-loss records would indicate. And that volley will fall in Clinton's favor. And we see Colby Jackson now come back into the game for Clinton, as Maddie Allard is now back to serve. Clinton still trailing by 1 here in the first set of the night for the varsity volleyball teams. And a strong attack by Trinity Gaiman yields another point for Nevada on that play. And that will bring up her turn behind the line to serve. Nice up by Katie Mitchell, and Clinton will put a free ball across the net.
They're going to call that in.
Yeah, right down the line, and very, very hard to play that ball.
We had a really good look at that, and you could have called that either way.
I think it was a good call, though. I would have called it in.
I'm rooting for Clinton here, so I'm going to say it was out.
Up and over by Katie Mitchell. Sets up Nevada, and that one, a strong attack to the back center row. They are unable to field that, so the point will go to Nevada. 19-15 now, Nevada leading.
Yeah, Mitchell bumped that. I don't think she intended it for her to go back over the net, but that's what happened, and it gave Nevada an easy set and spike there. So
yeah, sometimes that serve comes across and it just has so much momentum behind it that even the slightest bump will send it much deeper, farther back than you wanted it to go. And another one that is returned on the serve.
Spike, Mitchell with the bump. Here's the set. Jackson with the spike. Looks like it's going to be reset by Nevada.
And a good block by Mercedes Brown there, with Paige Gillen in on that as well. And the attack by Brown.
Oh,
and that attack will hit the flag, which means it is ruled out of bounds. It would cross on the outside of the flag in that instance. So that point goes to Clinton, and that will bring up Mercedes Brown to serve for Clinton.
Oh, nice play by Morgan. She just tipped it back over, and they weren't expecting that. So
sometimes the power is effective, and other times you got to know when to lay off a little bit.
Nice spike by Nevada.
And that is twice now that Nevada has hit the deep center of the back of the court to score the point. And now number 7, Hallie Bond, to serve. Her serve will go in the net.
Clinton right now down by 2.
And we see Lainey Coons back in the game for Nevada, as Paige Gillen lines up to serve. A little bit of a shuffle there, but Nevada manages to keep the ball in play. And again, Morgan chooses to go short. This time
Jackson?
Colby Jackson on the kill for Clinton.
Mm-hmm. You know, we were talking before the game even started how much power Jackson actually has. She definitely displayed it there.
Abby Heathman back in the game now for Nevada. Another short over for Morgan. And a hard play from Jackson. A good dig there by Mercedes Brown. So Clinton executing. A nice little save there.
Oh,
and they will call the lift there.
Good volley. Both teams not wanting to give up, making adjustments on the fly.
Morgan on the attack. And the block is not successful for Clinton, so Nevada will land the point there. 22-19 now. Nevada leading over your Clinton Lady Clinton Lady Cardinals here. Set one of the night for varsity action as Nevada is hosting Clinton. And we will take a quick timeout here and say thank you to Jim Rasick Auto Group in Clinton, Missouri. Go see Jim on the loop.
What do they call it? Nearly a half mile of
Cars, trucks, and vans.
That's right.
I love his commercials. And it's really informative, too. The other day, he reminded me that I needed to go buy milk.
Did he? Which is actually true.
It was. I don't know how he knew that.
You know, speaking of which, we're on the go a lot. We're at a lot of games this year. And being on the road, sometimes even getting to the grocery store to get a gallon of milk is a little difficult. Back to action. Nice block there by Morgan. Mitchell comes out. Allard comes in.
And we will have Colby Jackson back to serve.
Oh. Little confusion on Clinton's side where they're...
You know, I think we sort of touched on this last week at one of the Clinton games, how with the rotation that they use and the offensive strategies they use, sometimes it's tough to get to your position quickly enough. And that's a good indication there of the shuffle that needed to happen, and somebody just didn't quite get to where they needed to be as quickly as would have been efficient. So, you know, sometimes that happens, and they definitely will learn from that and correct that going forward. A nice try there from Elena Alexander to dig that one out of the net, but Clinton can't quite get it over. And we will see Morgan Hendricks out of the game now and Brian Smith coming in. And an ace for Hannah Godsey of Nevada.
And that will give Nevada the game.
They will take game one, 25-21. And, you know, Clinton taking a couple of times out there in that game to try to adjust and make some corrections to their execution. They're having a little bit of difficulty with some of their game strategies here this evening, and maybe it's just first game of the night and trying to get loosened up and get yourself really into the game a little bit, but not executing quite as well as I have seen them do for the last few weeks in the games that we've been covering, and let's see if they can come back out now for the second set and step it up a little bit, and maybe compete a little bit more here with this Nevada team. And I see a lot of excitement on the Nevada side of the court, not only from the players on the court but the bench as well. I think the girls over there, they're very hungry for a win, and they're very excited and anxious to be here tonight. And I'd say momentum is definitely in their favor right now as they face off here against the Lady Cardinals. So it'll be up to the Cardinals to stop that, to come in and show the Tigers that they can compete too, and that they are going to be able to keep up. And let's see if they can do that. Let's see if they can put one in the win column here in the second matchup of the night, and hopefully be able to put one in the win column for Clinton.
Absolutely, that's what we're hoping for. Making their substitutions right here at the beginning of the second set. All right.
And Hannah Godsey leading off to serve for Nevada. Katie Mitchell gets that one up, and Clinton will play it free. Clinton over in 2. And that up will go out of bounds. So Nevada will take the first point of game 2 here in the matchup. Paige Gillen really hustling across court to try and get to that one for the set, but just can't quite get underneath it.
Right off the bat, Clinton finds themselves in a little bit of trouble here.
And after that serve snags the net, they do manage to keep it in play until the block knocks it back down and just kind of falls in the lap of Mercedes Brown there, and she can't get any air underneath it.
And that actually goes out.
And they will call it off the fingertips of Nevada. So they will give that point to Clinton.
Mm-hmm. Mercedes hit that like she was looking for a little revenge.
I don't know about revenge, but I think she had something to prove.
Well, I don't. This is my second game watching Clinton in person, and I don't think they've ever lost a first match this season.
Wow. So first serve of this set for Elena Alexander. And the line judge says it's out, so that point will go to Clinton.
That was a close one, but I think she had the right call there.
So Clinton battling back, still trailing by 1 here. And the attack comes up a little short for Nevada, so that will tie the ball game.
Mm-hmm.
Starting to see a little bit more momentum from Clinton. Hear a little bit more chatter out on the court. Nevada over in 2. And that is Trinity Gaiman on the block for Nevada there, and that she's been a formidable opponent at the net tonight for Clinton.
Well, she's got a lot of height, so that.
Yeah, you can just see that she's listed at 6 foot even. I see 3 girls on the roster for Nevada listed at 6 even. That's a lot to overcome.
And once again, the ball gets bumped back over to her, and she just spikes it down. Clinton having a hard time digging these out of the net tonight.
So 7-3 your score. Nevada leading over the Clinton Lady Cardinals now. And I don't think that the Cardinals really expected to have this kind of a ball game going on here tonight. We are going to take a timeout, and as we do, we want to say thank you very much to Golden Valley Memorial Healthcare, one of our timeout sponsors. They were gracious enough to come on board and help us bring you the live stream this season, and we appreciate that. And I want to say thanks very much to them for all they do for our community and our schools and our sports systems and just everybody all the way around. I know we definitely rely on them quite a bit, and we are grateful to have them as part of our community.
And here is the serve.
Jade Feller. A good up by Brian Smith. Good reaction by Maddie Allard. And a nice block. Maddie Allard and Mercedes Brown on the block for Clinton. I'm getting a little ahead of myself there. And we will see Colby Jackson come into the game.
Well, last season during basketball, I called her Mallard.
I know. I know. A nice block by Mercedes Brown. And Smith to Alexander, sets up Brown again, and that will yield the point for Clinton. With the blocker, the ball kind of tangled in the net there and did land on Nevada's side. So
we're starting to see Clinton play a little bit more like themselves. And really, up to this point, Clinton's kind of been beating themselves.
You know, that really is true. Not to underestimate anything, though. Nevada is playing a good game, and they are executing well. And Colby Jackson's attack will go long. Give the point to Nevada. And we will see Katie Mitchell back in the game for Clinton. And at the same time, Delaney Hope back into the ball game for Nevada. Up to Brown is blocked by Delaney Hope. And Colby Jackson able to sneak one by the blockers and put one on the floor. So a point for Clinton in that play. And we will see Morgan Hendricks come into the game. Serve by Mercedes Brown now. Setting up Morgan Hendricks, who drives one straight down the middle in the backfield of the Nevada court.
That looks so nice. Let's see that on an instant replay. And
absolutely.
Well done.
Sometimes it's so nice you want to see it again. And Mercedes Brown gets one up in play. Clinton will bring it over free.
Nice save by the team there.
And Lainey Coons on that play. She couldn't quite get underneath it, so she was a little off on her timing there. Clinton will tie the ball game now, 8-8. And the deep serve will go out. Abby Heathman now to serve for Nevada. Attack by Morgan Hendricks. And a good save by Elena Alexander. Brown to Alexander, sets up Colby Jackson, and that will be a nice placement in that far back corner. She had a plan, and she knew where she was going with that one.
Well, Clinton started off, they lost the first game and got behind in the second, and now have battled back to tie the game.
Nice serve by Paige Gillen there. And Morgan Hendricks says, you're going to keep the ball on the net, I'll just put it back down. So that point will go to Clinton and finally give them the lead in the second matchup of the night here for the varsity volleyball girls. And Paige Gillen is back to serve for Clinton now. And the short dink will be successful for Nevada as Paige Gillen can't quite get underneath it. Just far enough to the outside and right on the line on the far sideline there. And the up by Katie Mitchell is on the net, and Nevada able to play that one to their advantage. And another long ball by Clinton will go out of bounds. So 12-10 now, Nevada leading over the Lady Cardinals. Cardinals struggling a little bit with their placement on their attacks.
Jackson makes a nice save.
Good hustle there. Yeah. And that point will go to Nevada as the ball falls down the near sideline and the girls just not quite able to get underneath it. You know, sometimes the danger of blocking is if your block is not successful, the ball can go at a very weird angle, and it's just very difficult to recover from that. And Nevada will give one back with the long serve. And so Clinton will take possession, and that will bring up Colby Jackson to serve for Clinton. Clinton had a substitution there trying to get Maddie Allard back in the game, but I think the official, one was watching and seeing it, the other not quite. So
they called that in. Okay, it was in then.
And Cadence Trosper back to serve for Nevada now. Nevada leading 14-11, and that serve will go in the net, give the point to Clinton. And now maybe the girls will have a second here to regroup and get set as Morgan Hendricks is back to serve. And she does a flat-footed serve this time. Unusual for her. She's got that really powerful jump serve that she will use. And Maddie Allard there on the attack will land one here across court to the near sideline and put the point on the board for Clinton.
Of course, we look at that on the instant replay.
And I heard Nevada call it out, but it did land in bounds, so that point will go to Clinton again and tie up the game now, 14-14. I heard a new phrase I like. I was listening to one of the NFL announcers. He said they put a knot in it when they tied the game.
Ah, they put a knot in it. Well, we've had several knots tonight.
And Maddie Allard on the sneak attack there as she sets one across net.
Yeah.
And
I think they're arguing that ball might have been out, but I think she actually touched it.
And that was the call. Officials said that there was a finger on the ball, so. Good up by Morgan Hendricks there. And I think Elena Alexander was ready to get that one, but Paige Gillen was calling for it, so she cleared a path, and it still did not quite work out.
So we got another knot in this game.
Brian Smith now back in the game for Clinton as we see the serve from Hannah Gotze. And Maddie Allard on that kill. Boy, a lot of power there. And she will follow it up with the short dink to the center and win the point for Clinton. And that's, you know, one of the best strategies you can use there. You know, she came in with a lot of power, and Nevada was able to play the ball. So the next time around, it's just a nice, easy over, and it worked for her.
Brown dives for it, thought she was going to have it, but unfortunately not come up with it.
Those are tough, too. When they hit the net, you never know how far or how deep it's going to bounce.
Is that a double hit?
No, they're calling Clinton in the net there.
Okay.
Yeah. And Elena was just a little too far over the line. Good hustle there by Brian Smith to pull that one up off the ground after the net snagged the ball a little bit. The block successful for Nevada that time, as they will put another point on the board and widen their lead to 3. Elena Alexander with the quick over. And
saying she pushed it? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the call was. She had a closed fist on the ball, so a little surprised by that. But. And that will go out of bounds. So Clinton a little out of control there on that play, and I think Coach Turner feels the same way. She will ask for the timeout and bring the girls over, see if she can't settle them down a little bit and get them to take a breath and think about executing their plays again. So as they do, of course, Nevada leading 21-16 over the Clinton Lady Cardinals. And we want to say thanks very much to Aaron Collins, agent at Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance in Clinton, for sponsoring timeouts here for tonight, the varsity girls volleyball game here at Nevada High School, where they're hosting the Clinton Lady Cardinals. Currently, Nevada is leading 1-0 over Clinton, as they took the first game 25-21. And here in the second matchup of the night, they are leading 21-16. So Nevada proving to be a formidable opponent here tonight.
Of course, in the JV game, Nevada won those as well. It's a little short.
And the short serve by Jade Feller is successful, as the Clinton team wasn't quite ready for something to drop in that short.
I just hit the top of the net, and Mercedes actually did a double hit.
And Gillen sends one to Alexander, who will put it over in 2 and win the point for Clinton there.
All right, now Clinton needs to take this opportunity now that they have the serve, get some momentum back. Once they've got the momentum, they'll start smiling, having a little bit of fun, and hopefully be able to come back and win this match.
Colby Jackson now in the game for Clinton, as we saw the serve by Maddie Alexander. And that was Jackson and Brown on the successful block. Now Alexander will set up Brown again, close to the net. She will dink it over. Maddie Allard, managed to dig that one up and just perfectly set up Nevada.
Yeah, that is 3 times tonight that we've seen that they've gone in to just bump the ball up to get control, and it actually goes over the net, and it actually gets spiked on them. That's the 3rd time tonight that this has happened. (23-17).
So Gaiman back to serve now for Nevada. And her serves, too, are hard to play. as she has a lot of movement and a little unorthodox pattern to the way that she sets herself up to serve. This will be game point for Nevada. So they are eager to put the second game in the books tonight. And Clinton will battle back. And that will be across the line on Nevada, so Clinton will take the point. And we will see Mercedes Brown back to serve as we rotate, and Morgan Hendricks comes back in the game. A good block by Jackson and Hendricks. Another block by Hendricks will yield the point for Clinton there. So nice to have her on that front row, as maybe finally we get to put a little bit of our 6-foot team in front of the net. She's almost there. They call it 5'11". We'll give her 6 for tonight. And that will be 4 hits for Nevada, so Clinton will take another point there. 20-24, trying to close this distance, as Nevada still looking for that game point score.
Clinton seeing a little momentum swing here. Let's see if they can capitalize on it.
Free ball from Nevada. And Morgan Hendricks will drop one in the center of the court to score the point for Clinton. A nice job by her seeing the opening and putting the ball exactly where it needed to be.
Okay, now we're seeing Clinton get back into the rhythm that we've seen him win with. Oh, and there's
not
your
quite able to
game
pull that
point.
one back. So 25-21 here, and the second matchup tonight, and Nevada will take the win on that one. That gives them the lead 2-0 here in the varsity matchup between the Clinton Lady Cardinals. And you know, I tell you what, Nevada is playing a good game here tonight. The Lady Cardinals, they're playing well, but not as well as I have seen them play in the last few weeks. You know, they look like they maybe are a little tired or a little run down here tonight, and you know, they're just having a hard time finding their rhythm. So I think, you know, on a good night, they would probably be in the opposite situation here, and they would probably be leading 2-0 against this Nevada team. But boy, tonight they're just struggling a little bit. Still a lot of deep balls going out of bounds on the back boundary line, and a lot of balls dropping in their court that I have seen them play numerous times. So, yeah, the Clinton Lady Cardinals struggling a little bit tonight to find their rhythm and execute their strategies the way that I have seen them do the last few weeks. And that's got to be tough. You know, sometimes I think that's the worst part about it is if you get a little bit behind, it is really hard to come back from that. You just you struggle with it so much that you can't find your rhythm, and it just works against you even more than maybe being a little off or whatever tonight. So
you're right, and you know, we're not seeing the energy level like we've seen in the past games on the Clinton side, and it seems like the more and more that Nevada scores, the more energized they become.
Absolutely, and rightfully so. I mean, when you've got an 0-5 record and now you're leading 2-0, you've got to be excited about that. You know, these girls, they really want to put a win in the books for them, and you know, they're gonna fight hard for this. So I think, you know, Clinton's about ready to face off against the hardest matchup they've probably faced all season.
Yeah, they're gonna have to take 3 games in a row here.
Well, and I think at this point you sort of have to think of it one game at a time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, let's just play this game and work this out and see that we are doing what we're needed to do, and We're looking here, a little bit of confusion. I think the girls had already completed their rotation, but the judges hadn't, or the officials hadn't marked it yet, so they had to come back out on the court while that took place. So Elena Alexander back to serve for Clinton now. Quick 2, and Maddie Allard will take a nice easy over. This one to Mercedes Brown, who will attack. A nice up by Mitchell. Brown on the attack is blocked, but she quickly recovers. Nice block for Clinton there. And that was Maddie Allard on the block, I think. I couldn't see, but I'm pretty sure that was her.
Something's going on with my instant replay. It's not wanting to work correctly.
So Clinton coming out strong here in game 3, and we will mark that as an ace for Alexander. 2-0 now. Clinton Lady Cardinals leading over the Nevada Lady Tigers. Free over from Nevada as Gilland will set up Maddie Alexander, and she will send one to the far back corner, and they will call that in.
All right, so there we go. Served by Alexander.
A nice dig there by Brian Smith. Allard on the attack again. Mitchell to Lynn Alexander, and Mercedes Brown on the attack. Just a little off on the timing there. So that will put one on the board for Nevada. Lady Cardinals leading 3-1 right now. Free ball over by the Cardinals. Alexander sets up Maddie Allard. So that will put another on the board for Nevada and bring up Jade Feller to serve. Snag the net just a little bit, but that's not a problem for Brian Smith. And on the return, Nevada is unable to play the ball, so Clinton will take the point. And we will see Colby Jackson come back in the game for Clinton as Mercedes Brown is back to serve. Clinton changing up their lineup just a little bit here. As the last 2 games, we would see Morgan Hendricks coming in right now. And now it looks like she and Colby Jackson have switched up spots in the rotation, and maybe that will help a little bit. We'll match them up against different players on the Nevada side of the net and see if that doesn't improve our defense a little bit. And that attack goes long and gives the point to Clinton. 6-2 now. Your Clinton Lady Cardinals leading over the Nevada Lady Tigers here in the 3rd game of varsity volleyball action tonight. Clinton having a little difficulty, losing 2-0 right now, but leading in this 3rd game. And as we take a timeout, we want to say thank you very much to Jim Rasick Auto Group on the Loop in Clinton, Missouri. We appreciate them coming on board and sponsoring the timeouts here for our varsity volleyball game tonight. And so we want to say go see Jim.
Absolutely.
And it looks like both teams back on the court now, ready to go. And Clinton will line up to serve. Mercedes Brown again. And the ball for Nevada a little wild, but they do keep it in play. Mitchell to Alexander. And that will go out of bounds. Allard just a little long on the attack there.
My My instant replay has malfunctioned and is not working, so. And that goes out.
And that is out of long serve for Nevada. So 7-3 now. Your Clinton Lady Cardinals leading over the Nevada Lady Tigers. And Maddie Allard now back to serve as we see Morgan Hendricks come into this game. We'll put her on the front row. Good communication there by the Clinton girls, as we heard a couple of them talking, letting their teammates know the ball was going to be out of bounds. And Elena Alexander able to pull back and not reach out for that one. Maddie Allard again on the serve, a good serve from her. And the attack by Nevada will go off the fingertips of the Clinton defender and put one on the board for Nevada.
All right.
Abby Heathman now back to serve. Setting up Morgan Hendricks, who goes in for the kill there.
Clinton definitely looking more in their rhythm. They just had to take a couple of games to get there.
A nice block for Morgan Hendricks there. And 4 hits on Nevada will put the point on the scoreboard on the Clinton side. 10-4 now. Clinton leading. And definitely looks like a little bit of a different team here. As Nevada will fumble that and put the ace in the column for Paige Gilland on that serve. That one goes a little bit outside of the line.
Oh, she's like, why did I hit that? That's all right. Her teammates were there for her.
That was an interesting a reaction on her face there. And Morgan Hendricks with the block to score the point for Clinton on that play.
Let's take another look at that on the instant replay. Nice blocking up front.
It was a nice save by Mercedes, but she knew she didn't need to save it. Boy, what a reaction. And setup goes to Brown. Free ball from Nevada. Again, Brown on the attack. And not quite there. Clinton having a little bit of trouble in the last few plays in the back row. Not quite as much communication there, I think, as they're used to. And the serve from Nevada goes in the net, so Clinton will score the point there. 6-13. Lady Cardinals leading now by 7. And Morgan Hendricks back to serve.
You know, every one of Morgan's serve tonight have been flat-footed.
Yeah.
Which is unusual for her because she has that high, powerful serve.
Yeah, usually a very strong jump serve.
It's just not there tonight.
And a long reach there for Brian Smith as she tries to bring that one back. I'm not sure that one wouldn't have been out of bounds maybe, but it's hard to judge when you're in that position. Maddie Allard on the attack. Mitchell to Gillen sets up Allard again.
I tell you what, number 18, Hope, she has her height. She is using it to her advantage and has done that numerous times.
I think that's Trinity Gaiman you're talking
Trinity
about.
Gaiman. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. A little bit of.
And just with a couple of quick plays there, Nevada cuts that Clinton lead in half, now 10-13. And Paige Gillen will set up Mercedes Brown. Now Maddie Allard will drop one a little short into the center of the court and score the point for Clinton. 14-10.
It's a nice little set there. She comes in from the corner and puts it right in the center of the court where there just happens to be no one.
Lena Alexander now on the serve for Clinton. A nice deep serve from her. And that will be out of bounds. So Clinton will take the point. And it was a lucky break for Clinton there because there was no one anywhere near the position to be able to field that ball. And the attack by Trinity Gaiman just a little mistimed there, hits the net. So Clinton will take the point again. Long attack will go out of bounds. And they will say off the fingertips of Clinton. So that will be a Nevada point. So 16-11 now. The Clinton Lady Cardinals leading over the Nevada Tigers here in Nevada tonight in Game 3 of varsity volleyball action. Of course, Clinton trailing in this series 2-0 right now. And Nevada cannot dig that one out of the net. So we will see the substitution for Clinton as Colby Jackson comes back into the game. And Mercedes Brown is back to serve. A nice serve from her, drops it kind of low into the center and off the fingertips of the back row, out of bounds. So Nevada having a little bit more trouble here in Game 3, and Clinton's starting to look a little bit more like what we have seen out of them over the last few weeks. And it's nice to see a few adjustments there that seem to be working out for them. They changed their rotation up a little bit, put Morgan Hendricks and Colby Jackson in opposite positions, and it seems like the matchups there at the net have been pretty successful for them, so maybe a good decision there. And as we take a timeout here, we want to say thanks very much to our timeout sponsor, Golden Valley Memorial Healthcare. We appreciate them and everything they do, and want to say thanks for helping us bring you the live stream of tonight, Clinton High School volleyball. As the girls will come back out on the court now and get ready to go back to volleyball action. And Katie Mitchell digging up a hard spike there. Free ball from Nevada.
Oh, that one probably was going to go out, but
sets up Colby Jackson, and the defender cannot handle it. That will score the point for Clinton. So Clinton leading by 8 now. Looking to prove themselves a little bit here tonight. Free ball from Nevada. Alexander will set up Colby Jackson this time. And now Maddie Allard with the quick dink. And a good effort there, but cannot pull that one back in as Nevada never really got control of it. Back row spike from Katie Mitchell. And the attack will land just inside the back row of Clinton. score the point for Nevada. 20-12 now, your score here. Clinton still leading in game 3 of varsity volleyball action. Maddie Allard will take that one flat-footed and put it in the center, just in front of the back row's breach. And we see Morgan Hendricks now coming back into the game for Clinton, as Maddie Allard is back to serve. And they will
Call that a push on that? Was that or a double hit, perhaps?
no. Morgan Hendricks saying, you know what, if you're going to leave the ball at the net, I'm gonna play it. And she puts that one back over into play, and Nevada not able to field it. So 23-12 now, Clinton leading.
Nice dig.
I'm a little surprised they didn't call the lift on Nevada that last time.
That will be out.
And Nevada really wants a net call there, but I do not see it. And the coach even vocalizing that a little bit. But the call does not come in. 24-12 now, game point for Clinton. Maddie Allard on the serve. And it is still alive, but cannot quite get it over. So that will be 4 hits on Clinton, and we will see Katie Mitchell rotate back into the game now. 24-13, the score now. Clinton looking for the win here in game 3. Sets up Morgan Hendricks, who puts it away for Clinton. So 25-13, our final score here in the 3rd game of the night, as the Clinton Lady Cardinals are matching up against the Nevada Lady Tigers here in varsity volleyball action. And so now we have Nevada still leading the match 2-1, but Clinton definitely battling back here in the later games, starting to look like the Clinton team we expected to see when we showed up tonight. So it's nice to see that, and nice to see them able to use that to their advantage. You know, they switched up their rotation a little bit, moved Morgan Hendricks and Colby Jackson around, and you know, sometimes it's not about whether or not you hit the ball correctly, but about who's on the other side of the net and how you can match up to them. So I think they've made some good moves here, and it's really paying off for them. And I think the girls are starting to get a little bit get loosened up and starting to feel the patterns and get back into some of their routines now. They're starting to execute their plays better. They're just more successful overall. They look better, and they're starting to relax. They're starting to talk more. So if they can keep that up, then maybe they can come back here. And, of course, they have to win 2 more to put the series away. This is a best-of-5 tonight, so we'll see how well the Nevada team adjusts here and see how well Clinton can keep it up, how long they can maintain their adjustments, and hopefully Clinton can pull out another couple of wins here and put this one in the win column for Clinton again tonight.
You know, playing nights back-to-back away games, you know, it's got to be a factor.
Absolutely.
There's just no way that it couldn't be. You know, especially I'm sure a lot of these people were sitting home watching NFL football this weekend, which if you watch the Chiefs game, that would have wore you out.
I got tired just watching Butker
oh yeah.
kick.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, he kicked it 3 times, and
Oh, yeah, in the last 10 seconds, he kicked 3 in a row from, 54 and 58 and 58 or 59 and 59? I don't know.
exactly.
And I was amazed, yeah. That was – but, you know, they said in warm-ups out at the game Sunday, he kicked a 67-yarder, and they said he was kicking them in practice from over 70.
Yeah, he has got one of the best legs in the NFL.
I don't know if I can even see 70 yards away sometimes.
And here we go with the first serve.
So Nevada leading off the serve here to start game 4 tonight. And
that's out.
We see early on Trinity Gaiman hits one long, puts the first point on the board for Clinton. You know, and I think you've got something there when you talk about back-to-back game nights and travel nights. You know, when you just have practice the night before, you're done with practice and you're home at a pretty reasonable hour. But when you're traveling for a game, it's going to be a late night home. And, you know, let's not forget, we are talking about high school sports here. These girls have got homework and they've got assignments to complete, you know. So 2 nights in a row, some of them may be pretty worn out.
Yeah, and, you know, also with the extra requirements with, you know, with COVID and social distancing and even the way that they travel is different now.
And you know, aren't we all just pretty exhausted with the whole COVID-19 thing? I mean, you know, I don't care what your stance is on it. It's just exhausting after a while to be this focused on something.
It is.
You know?
It is. And that's the one thing that we're starting to see in a little bit what they call COVID fatigue.
Right.
Well, back to action. Here's Alexander with the serve. Set, spike, blocked.
And the quick reaction by Allard, not quite enough to get that one back up in the air for Clinton. So Nevada will now take the point and take the serve. And Maddie Allard on the attack. You know, the Clinton girls, they are starting to look a little bit more, you know, they're a little more fired up, got a little bit more energy going on. So that's nice to see. Couple of free balls from Nevada there. And that will go out of bounds. Good call there by Katie Mitchell to kind of pull her hands back at the last minute and avoid that. So that's nice to see, and Clinton will put that point on the board. 4-1 now. The Lady Cardinals leading over the Nevada Lady Tigers.
And we should get an instant replay on this. Jason Abner is actually assisting in the game. Of course, Jason Abner is the activities director for Clinton. Oh, off the top of the net.
Nice dig there by Katie Mitchell to set one back up. She'll take the back row spike from the flat-footed position. You can't quite pull that one in. You know, you mentioned Jason Abner a minute ago. Man, that's one job I would not like to have this year. That guy, he is, I mean, he's amazing, keeping up with all of the sports and all of the activities, all of the cancellations, all of the changes, all of the different requirements. I mean, you know, somebody give the man a cup of coffee because, you know, he has earned that and more. I mean, you know, it's just amazing the amount of time and effort he's putting in for our kids this year.
Right. You know, one thing that I've labeled what the school districts across the nation have to do is the impossible project. And back to action here. Here's a spike, dig, over. Wow.
Great job by Maddie Allard to keep that one alive.
Unfortunately, Nevada comes up with the point there. Jason Abner definitely getting his workout tonight. How that guy still has brown hair and hair at all on his head. No. Jason's been very good with this and definitely kept us in the loop on the scheduling.
Well, and not just us. You know, he's
yeah.
doing a weekly update. I've seen it on Facebook and YouTube. It's probably on TikTok, and you know, just letting parents and families know. Can you go to the game? Do you have to bring your mask? Should you bring a chair? You know, I mean.
Nice block by Nevada there.
And he's covering, you know, half a dozen sports this fall. Volleyball, tennis, soccer, football, cross country. You know, I mean, to keep track of all those things and multiple games a night and everything else that he's doing, I mean, it's just amazing.
Nice dig by Mitchell on that one, and then Morgan with the spike.
Colby Jackson back to serve for Clinton now.
Oh.
That will be off the fingertips of Clinton on the block. And we will see Brian Smith back in the game for Clinton now. 7-5. Clinton still leading by 2 over the Nevada Lady Tigers here. This is game 4. That will be long and out of bounds, so Clinton will take back the serve. Clinton's still trailing 2-1 here in the matchup. And a little bit of confusion there as the ball accidentally gets sent back to the Nevada side. And we will see Maddie Allard rotate back in the game for Clinton. Another flat-footed serve from Morgan Hendricks. Nice up after the block, and Alexander on the kill. Now Alexander will set up Brown, and it is out of bounds, but they will call it off the fingertips at the net, so that will be Clinton's ball. And Morgan Hendricks again back to serve. I wonder sometimes, you know, the gym here is a little shorter, you know, a little, you know, I don't know how to say it right. But in Clinton, when we're at home and Morgan serves, her toss is very high. I wonder if she just can't get the height in this gym to do her jump serve.
I don't think so. It's almost like she's playing a little, maybe this is strategic. Maybe they've seen something in game footage and they're like, you know.
Well, there are lots of reasons that it could be, I guess, unless we, you know, hike down there and ask her. We probably won't know. But you just can't help but wonder what it is that caused the change up tonight. And you know, she's still a powerful server. She's still doing a great job. It's just unusual to see her change that up as much as she has tonight.
And don't get the wrong idea. Her serves are good.
Absolutely.
They're college level even at this point. We're just not seeing that high jump serve that she's kind of known for, really.
Absolutely.
So, you know, honestly, considering the fact that she's consistently served that way, I think maybe they saw something in game footage that with that type of serve from her, maybe Nevada has struggled defending that.
Could be. You never know. We do want to say thanks very much to Aaron Collins, Missouri Farm Bureau insurance agent, who is one of our timeout sponsors here tonight. So we will do that as we just are coming back now from the timeout. And Clinton, of course, leading 11-5 here in game 4 of the night. Morgan Hendricks back to serve. Smith to Gillen to Allard, and Page reacting quickly to save the block. And that one they cannot pull up off the ground, so that will be point Nevada.
Mitchell and Smith in the back to bump. It's a set.
Maddie Allard on the attack to score the point for Clinton.
Take a second look at that.
And we will get the serve from Alana Alexander. Smith with a good bump there. Nice.
Oh, wow.
And what a battle at the net.
Yeah.
As Maddie Allard, who on paper lists out at 5'10", is faced off against Trinity Gaiman, who's listed as 6 foot there. And they were back and forth with that one. Mercedes Brown takes that one. Another nice block by Trinity Gaiman there.
Yeah, Clinton's kind of struggling at the net right now. They're losing those battles up front. They come with a serve.
And that time it doesn't quite work out for her as the ball and Trinity sort of get tangled up in the net, and that will fall on the Nevada side. And we will see Colby Jackson come back in. You know, I think part of the reason for matching this up the way they did, because Colby is a little bit shorter, they will set her a little further back. And the ball will go over the net a little bit higher than it does for Morgan or and for Maddie. And when the ball's a little higher over the net, the blockers don't have as much success with it. You know, when you're 6 foot tall, anything that just clears the net by a few inches is going to be right in your hands. And so maybe that's the reason for moving Morgan and matching up Colby against Trinity Gaiman here on the net. And another successful, but they will say she was in the net.
Oh, so that will go to
So
Nevada.
they will give that to Nevada. Of course, with Nevada's rotation, that will move number 18 to the server position and off the front row. 14-9 is your score here, with Clinton still leading. This is game 4 of the night. Clinton currently trailing 2-1. And the block is successful, but they will call that 4 hits on Clinton. So the attack must have bounced off the net instead of the hands of Nevada. And Nevada working hard to close the gap. And that serve will go out of bounds. 10-15 now, your score, as Clinton leads over the Lady Tigers. And that will bring up Maddie Allard to serve, and we will rotate Morgan Hendricks back into the game now. Short dink from Nevada. And Morgan Hendricks on the attack is blocked, and Clinton not able to pull that one back in, so that will go out of bounds and give the ball back to Nevada. Another block by Nevada.
And that will go way out of bounds.
Just a little late on the swing there by Colby Jackson. So Nevada battling back here, definitely trying to close that gap. And a quick think by Elena Alexander there as she sees the middle of the court wide open and quickly dinks the set over to score the point for Clinton. Paige Gillen on the serve. Sets up Morgan Hendricks, who goes for the dink. Katie Mitchell bringing one into play. And the quick action there, soft touch from Colby Jackson is out of control, and Nevada will turn the ball over to Clinton again.
Nevada's done a really good job defending against those little dinks. Clinton's kind of made that their bread and butter the last few games, really fooling their opponents, but Nevada's done a good job defending against that.
And just out of reach of Katie Mitchell there on the attack, so that point will go to Nevada. And I think the key there on those attacks is to mix it up. You have to attack really strong, but then you have to come back and sometimes pull your punches, so to speak. And the Clinton girls really usually do a very good job of that. Morgan Hendricks now saying, "I bet you can't grab this one," and plants that one just inside the back row.
Look at this one again. That is no dink. That is a whack. Jackson to serve. Oh.
And the blockers get a hand on it, but can't quite keep it off their side of the court. So Nevada will take the point, and we will see Brianne Smith come back in for Clinton. Nice low serve there from the Nevada team. Cadence Trosper, I believe. She just grazed the net with that one. Attempted block is no good, but Nevada does keep it in play. This time, the dink. Surprised that we didn't see the carry on that one.
Oh,
and Clinton can't keep it in play. The Nevada girl on the opposite side of the net, she literally reached way behind her, and when you do that, they tend to call the lift. Another short dink by Morgan Hendricks. This time, Mercedes Brown with the attack. And they will call.
They're going to say that she grazed it. She touched the ball before it went out of bounds. So, Clinton serve.
Nice block there by Maddie Allard, and Nevada unable to field the block. So Clinton will take the point, moving them a little bit further into the lead, 20-16 now. And that serve will go long and out of bounds. Katie Mitchell now rotating back in. Of course, Clinton fighting to stay alive here. A nice dig by Paige Gilland out of the net. Allard taking that one flat-footed. And Trinity Yeaman not quite able to get underneath that one. So Clinton will take the point, 21-17 now.
Timing was a little off on that. Came in at a weird angle. Clinton serve.
Elena Alexander. And
I'm going to say that was out. That could have been, that was so close.
I was looking to see, I see the line judge across from me signaled out. I did not see if the near side line judge signaled, but I did not get any opposition anywhere.
Nope.
So they will set back up for Trinity. She will drive that one straight down the sideline. Mercedes Brown on the attack.
Oh, this ball is still live.
And still in play.
Yes.
And the set a little behind where Gaiman likes to see it. She wasn't able to get that one up in the air. So 23-17 now, your score, with your Clinton Lady Cardinals leading over the Nevada Lady Tigers here. This is game 4 in the varsity matchup tonight. Currently, Nevada leading 2-1 over the Clinton Lady Cardinals, but the Lady Cardinals leading here in game 4, trying to tie this one up and send it into game 5 tonight. As we take another break, timeout here, and we want to say thanks to Jim Rasick Auto Group for sponsoring our timeouts. Of course, on the loop in Clinton, Missouri. So we appreciate them, and definitely want to say thanks for sponsoring our live coverage of the Clinton Lady Cardinals volleyball tonight. We should have Lady Cardinals football. What do we got to do to get that going? I'm interested.
You know, more and more you're seeing flag football. There are college leagues now as well. I've watched a few games online, and of course I like football, so it's an interesting game.
And mark the ace for Elena Alexander there as Clinton moves the score 24-17 now. So this will bring up game point for them. You know, we'll see what we can do here. Nice deep serve from Alexander. Setting up Maddie Allard, who goes in for the kill. Oh, and Nevada digs that one up, but it will land out of bounds and put the point on the board for Clinton. So your final score, 25-17 here in Game 4 as Clinton takes the win. So now we are all in a knot.
It's
2-2 as Nevada and Clinton square off here in varsity volleyball action on Tuesday night. And, you know, we had, I forget what school it was, but we had a female football player on one of our high school teams just a few years back.
Oh, it was last year. It was Lafayette.
Lafayette, that's who it was. And I'm pretty sure she played soccer.
Yeah, she was a soccer player, and she was also the
kicked
place kicker for
the football team.
And last year in that game, that was the first football game of the year for Clinton. Then we were actually covering that game. She came out and hit, I think, a 30-yarder.
It was, yeah.
And I didn't really watch during warm-ups and practice, but if she was hitting them at 30 yards in the game, usually they're hitting them from further back in practice. And that's kind of what they gauge it by. If you're hitting, a 35 or 40-yard in practice, then they'll let you try for that long. And so that's one thing. We cover two different teams this year for football, El Dorado Springs and Osceola, and you rarely see any kicking in those games at all. I know El Dorado Springs. I don't think they've ever kicked the ball.
Well, and Osceola plays 8-man football.
8-man football.
And, when you've got 8 men on the field, you got a lot of ground to cover. You've really got to keep yourself moving. And they almost never even kick the point after attempts. They almost always will go for the 2-point conversion in those situations.
In high school, you'll see that a lot. But don't be fooled by 8-man football. I mean, there may be only 8 men on the field, but the field is a little shorter. It's not as wide. So it's the same game, really.
It is the same game, but they also play very differently. It
is, and I was talking to Dusty Schubert, who's the principal there at Osceola. He says it's a safer game. They don't see nearly as many injuries.
I'm sure that's true.
There's not as much contact, even though it is still football. It is still tackle football. It lessens and it allows some of these smaller schools to either have football or continue to have football. So here we are, final match. I believe we still play to 25.
That's correct. Nevada with the opening serve here. Game 5. And a nice block. Brown and Allard on that block. We will set up Mercedes Brown, who goes for the short dink. Nevada plays that. And that ball coming in fast, and Brian Smith not quite able to dig it up. So the first point of the game will go to Nevada. And we will see now, game 5, how the girls, how much longevity there is in their gameplay. A little bit long there by Maddie Allard, off the fingertips. Sometimes that blocking is a double-edged sword. You know, you get a good block on it, and you may score the point, but if you're just not quite there, that ball could be anywhere. And we will get a free ball from Nevada here. Mitchell to Alexander, sets up Mercedes Brown, who says, there's nobody on the far side here. I'm going to drop one just over the net, and it works for her.
Take a second look at that. Yeah, she just takes a second, looks what's going on, and here's the serve.
Battle at the net there. Clinton winning that, and Nevada having to put one over free. Nice attack by Allard on that. And nobody there to set for Nevada. So Clinton will take the point as that ball falls onto the court. 3-1 now. Lady Cardinals leading. And Alexander back to serve again. She will hit the center back. Smith up. And Nevada not able to field that attack. That will score the point for Clinton.
You know, one thing that I'm seeing is the bumps off the serves are so much better later in the games than they were at the beginning, and that's one thing that Clinton was struggling with. And that will bump out of bounds.
You know, that's one of the hardest things to figure out when those balls are coming at you. They spin in unusual directions, and you have to really get very good at reading them. Katie Mitchell now back in for Clinton, and Mercedes Brown on the serve. The blocking attempt by Allard and Jackson is unsuccessful, and so Nevada will take the point on that play. But that will rotate Trinity Gaiman off the front row. Back her up to serve now. So girls will go back to their positions and ready to field the next serve from her. Nice up by Brown. We will set up Colby Jackson, who just catches the edge of the net and can't put that one away. And the game is all tied up again, 5-5.
We're back to knots. My stomach's kind of in knots at this point.
Nice up by Katie Mitchell. Setting up Alexander to Jackson, but Colby Jackson's timing just a little off on that. And we will see Coach Turner call another timeout here, see if she can't settle the girls a little bit as Nevada actually takes the lead in game 5 here, currently tied 2-2. And we want to say thanks very much to Golden Valley Memorial Healthcare for sponsoring the timeouts here at the varsity volleyball game tonight, where the Clinton Lady Cardinals are visiting the Nevada Lady Tigers. And we are having quite an interesting matchup.
Oh, absolutely. Now, is Golden Valley Memorial rehab? Now, is that actually part of the...
Yes,
yeah,
they put their sign up this week, didn't they?
Yeah, they're moving into what used to be the old Aldi's.
And they have spent a lot of time and effort and probably a lot of money, too, to rehab that building. It had sat vacant for a long time.
For several years.
And it took quite a bit to get it back into condition where we could use it well. But they put the put the time and effort into it.
Okay.
And so as we saw there, Trinity Gaiman on the serve taking just a little longer than she needed to go through her routine, and she fumbles her serve and is not able to get it off. So Clinton will take the point to tie the game. And that will bring up Maddie Allard to serve for Clinton. And they will call the lift on Morgan Hendricks there. So free ball over from Clinton. And that will go out of bounds. But they will call it off the fingertips of Clinton and give the ball to Nevada.
There was Morgan got a little bit of her fingers on it, so 8-6.
So this is a tough one. So the teams battling, both of them fighting to take the win here tonight. And Nevada will get that point. I'd have to say that right now the momentum seems to be on the side of Nevada. And, you know, I think both of these teams anxious to take the win here. First because Clinton had the loss last night, the first of the season for them. And on the Nevada side of the ball, of course, they are 0-5, looking for their first win. So I think both teams very anxious to prove something here. And serve is in the net, so that will give it back to Clinton. 10-7 now. The Lady Cardinals trailing. And Paige Gillen back to serve. And the dig by Katie Mitchell will go out of bounds and give the ball back to Nevada on that play. A nice up there by Mitchell as Paige Gillen sets up Morgan Hendricks, who sends one deep. Nice block by Hendricks. Mercedes Brown gets one. The setup for Colby Jackson, and the block is interferes with the trajectory, and the players can't recover from that. So Clinton will take back possession, and that will bring up Colby Jackson to serve. Morgan Hendricks to attack, and that will go out of bounds. I think she caught that one a little off to the side of her hand and kind of sliced it.
12-8.
Brian Smith now back in the game. Nice up by Clinton. And a good dig by Nevada there, number 16, Lainey Coons. But the return goes out of bounds, so Clinton will take the point on that, and we will see Maddie Allard coming back into the game as Morgan Hendricks is back to serve. And she looked around, picked her spot, and decided to adjust her footing at the last minute to land that ace. A well-placed ball there by Morgan Hendricks. Quick over from Nevada, sets up Mercedes Brown. And the lift by Nevada. Boy, that squeaked in my ear. The lift by Nevada will give the point to Clinton. 11-12 now as they close that gap. And Brian Smith not quite able to reach that one. We will see Katie Mitchell rotate back into the game now. Nice up by Clinton. Sets up Brown. Nevada will play it. And the ball off the fingers of Mitchell will go out of bounds. 14-11 now. Nevada still leading. The excitement here in the auditorium is pretty prevalent. The crowd getting loud.
Well, everybody's getting their money's worth tonight, that's for sure. We've had all 5 games.
Maddie Allard. And that will go out by Nevada, so Clinton will take the point. Elena Alexander, and that serve will land in the net. So maybe a little bit of late game fatigue there on the Clinton side of the ball. And currently 15-12, Nevada Lady Tigers leading the Clinton Lady Cardinals. What an effort there. And it looks like we are only playing
to
15.
So Clinton falls 2 nights in a row, takes it to the 5th match.
I don't think I've seen a 5-game series
yeah,
by Clinton this year.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that we only played to 15 on the last game even.
Yeah.
And wow, what a heartbreaker for Clinton tonight to coming off such a great start to the season, and now back-to-back nights away and back-to-back losses for the team, and a tough break for them here. The girls started slow. The first matchup of the night, the varsity girls couldn't quite get their timing right. A lot of their attacks were going long and out of bounds, and so the first game went to Nevada, and the Cardinals, they just didn't really look like themselves for the first part of the night. And finally, by about the time we started Game 3, we started to see the team that we are used to seeing. Mm-hmm. But by that time, Nevada had enough of a lead that it was just a little bit too much, and the Cardinals couldn't quite close the gap and come back from it. So
it's one of those things that you can't wait and show up at the last 3 games. You got to be there at the start, beginning.
From the beginning.
And Clinton really did struggle up front. I don't know, maybe they came in here a little overconfident. It's, honestly, when we talked about this several times, we mentioned it several times, that Clinton just looks a little tired. They just look like they didn't have that enthusiasm that we've seen in a lot of their games. And back-to-back on the road nights may be a factor in there. But I'm sure Coach Turner will take the girls into the locker room, give them a little pep talk, go over some things they've struggled with, and then in practice correct those mistakes.
Of course, no game tomorrow, so they will have a game to regroup, a day to regroup and sort of get their feet back under them, so to speak, before later this week. I'm thinking, Thursday, do they play Pleasant Hill?
Yes, they play Pleasant Hill, and we will be at that game at Pleasant Hill broadcasting. There will be no JV game. There will be C team and then varsity. Why there's no JV and C, I don't know why, but Mr. Abner sent me a text informing me that that's the case. So we should start roughly somewhere around 6 o'clock. With that game. It will, of course, be just after the freshman game, the C game. So, all right. Well, thank you.
Definitely want to say congratulations to the Nevada Lady Tigers tonight too. Coming in 0-5, they can now put one in the win column for them. So while we hate to see our Lady Cardinals come up a little short, we want to say congratulations to the Lady Tigers and on their victory tonight.
Absolutely. They did a wonderful job. Came in there and played with a lot of enthusiasm. They broke that goose egg, that 0 in the win column, and now they'll move on. Of course, Nevada has always had a strong volleyball program, and it might be one of the situations where they just played the toughest teams up front. But all right,
At any rate, a great
I'm
night
James
for
Hinkle.
volleyball.
This is Stacy Hinkle. We are Sounds Like Videos. Thank you so much for watching. And, of course, anytime we come live, wherever we are, whatever platform, please share that so more people have the opportunity to watch. And we are out of here. Good night.